Hello everyone, it's Nancy from Northwoods of Wisconsin. I'm coming here today because it's the last day of September. 9 months of the year 2014 have flown by and I can't believe it. And thank goodness that we all do journaling so that we can look back on the months and see where it all went. I'm still using my Fobonichi, which was the Miguel Ruiz book from Barnes & Noble, and also the cover from Barnes & Noble, which was the suede book cover, and it's fine. I wish I could sew one of the cute little Hobonichi covers or get a Hobonichi cover, but this month has been very bad for us monetarily. We had all sorts of car problems, ended up buying a new car, so there goes all my play money anyway. So I'm going to be satisfied with my cover, which works fine. It's just not as cute as the beautiful covers that I see on the Facebook groups, and I'm very jealous, but congratulations to everybody that got the Hobonichis this year, the real ones, and hopefully I'll be able to join you next year when they all come out again. I got a couple of editions for my Fobonichi. As you can see, I've got a cover elastic so that anything I stick in here for temporary before I glue it in doesn't fall out. I got this at Levenger, and it's just basically an elastic band with an elastic pen loop. I've got my Coletto on there, which really, is nice so that I don't have to go searching for it, and it always stays with the book. Also, I'm using my Lecturium, oh, I cannot pronounce it. Anyway, it's a German word, and they make notebooks, Lecturnum. They also make these little sticky pen loops, and so I got one in lime green, and I put my Field Notes little ballpoint pen in there. This thing really works nicely. It does not bleed when you wet it, and I really enjoy it for sketching. Now also, because of the Manuel Ruiz book, or Miguel Ruiz book, the cover is very flimsy. I left the cardstock covers inside that were inside the book cover. I left them in there, but it still would, crinkle up the cover for the journal. So I went and put binder clips on there, and on the front and on the back, and it really has helped, so that my cover is, and see how it accordioned. It just like scrunches up. So that solved that problem, and I have some place to put little notes or whatever should I need to. This is just how I set it up, how many squares I went in, and how I wanted it set up in the beginning. So let's go and find September 1st, which I found. Oh, before I get into that, this is the other thing that I use with my Hobonichi and my other planners, and I got this from Amazon fairly cheap, and I have it stock full of all sorts of stickers and washi tape on credit card, old credit cards, a bunch of stickers. Also, I got from Jet Pens. I didn't not actually stop shopping, but I just stopped shopping for expensive things. But I got these cute little stencils, and I'm looking forward to using them in my Fobonichi. So they have a nice little ruler, straight edge, and circles and squares. So I'm going to be able to use those really nice. And those were cheap. You got them for $5, both of them. at Jet Pens. And I don't have anything else. The other thing that I bought at Jet Pens were this nice SIG glue marker. They had a small tip, and then they also have this larger chisel tip, and you can really hurry up and stick down stuff with this very nicely. You know, I like it almost better than glue sticks, but it doesn't last as long as a glue stick. So, but if I'm in a hurry, this is what I'll pick up and use. And then plus it fits in my pen loop there. So that's all that's new in here. Everything else is the same. I just got, whoa, sorry about that. I guess my tripod was not sitting correctly. Oh, I just like to stick in stickers and dots, and I haven't bought any new stickers lately. I'm on the lookout though for some Halloween stickers and some Christmas stickers and Thanksgiving, so the holidays are going to be upon us before we know it, and I want to be able to decorate my planners. So, oh, and I had gotten some Smashbook type things, and this one, you know, has little banners that you can stick, and it's hard cardstock, so you can actually make little tabs out of these. Things that you want, need, to make, to bake, to buy. Well, as you can see, I haven't used my to bake or to buy because neither one of those things fits in my vocabulary this month. So, on to the Fobonichi in September. We had a little bit of a cold spell at the end of August, and then it started getting warmer again, and I have a little magnolia hanging planter, and it just decided to bloom again, and it's still blooming. I don't know why, probably because I don't mess with it. So it was just gorgeous, and I had to draw it. And I'm still finding quotes on that quotations page according to subject, and I have not run out of them yet, and I've really enjoyed looking for some quote that signifies my day. This one is from Albert Camus. It says, "In the depth of winter I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer." So that was very pretty. This day I took my recyclables down to the milk house. I live on a ranch and I work here too. And it was just such a beautiful day. I just had to go around and look down by the lake, and it was just so beautiful. It was so quiet too. You know, after Labor Day, everybody leaves and you could just hear a pin drop outside. But we had thunderstorms, so my dog was hiding. He's totally scared of the, you know, any rain at all, and we had, you know, pretty bad thunderstorms that day. So the next day, after Labor Day, is pretty darn busy, so I decided to have a night of culture. I drew, I'm doing drawing tutorials online and doing a lot of figure drawing, and I was playing my violin and trying to work on some songs. Next day we had thunderstorms again, and this time it was really bad, and I can't believe that we didn't lose power. But the sky really looked like that. It was every single color. So we got a chance to watch, but we did watch the football game, and I thought about Dorothy's ruby slippers, so I had to paint them. And this is the day that Joan Rivers had passed away, and so I thought a quote by her would be appropriate. And it says, "I don't exercise. If God wanted me to bend over, he would have put diamonds on the floor. So that was a cute quote from her. Rest in peace. The next day was just beautiful outside and sunny and 70. What can you say? I found this little card, and I just thought it was just a perfect thing to put on my day. Since we live up in the rural areas, our internet is not unlimited, so we have to watch how much broadband we use every day. So I have to upload my videos, as well as do all my YouTube watching, as well as doing my school at between 12 and 5 a.m. So I usually, when I want to do that on the weekends, I'll take a nap at night and get up and make dinner around 8 o'clock, and then I start watching my school or other videos and stuff then. So I call it my third shift art school, and I also practice my concertina. We had pork chops for dinner, and I bought a little creme brulee field notes Midori type of notebook, and it came today, and my husband loved it so much he wanted the dark chocolate one, so I ordered that too. And I'm using it for a day-to-day brain dump, calendar, and permanent things. I'll probably do a video on that, what I have in that. So I was pooped out. These 2 days were all totally screwed up. So I didn't put anything for Sunday, and then Monday this happened, so I put it automatically on Sunday because I was so upset. The car people had kept my car for 2 weeks. They charged me $1,000, and my problem was still not fixed. So I was just very, very, very upset. I can't even tell you. And so that I really just got everything screwed up. So I put down what my Sunday was on Monday. So I worked on my art cart, and I cleaned my art room, and you know, just had a relaxing Sunday. And also Monday was a super moon, so that was cool. Although we didn't get a chance to see it because it was cloudy here. The next day, Tuesday, we took a chance and drove it back into town, even though the car was all screwed up. The electrical systems were all, we have a handicap van, and for some reason the electrical systems were all screwed up. So the speedometer was going around and around, the RPM thing was going around and around, gas gauge, boop boop, lights going on and off, the headlights going on and off, the windshield wipers going without it being, you know, so it was just screwed up. So I had to do some dental work, and I thought I was going to have a tooth pulled, but I did not. And the night before, I was just so stressed out that I ended up staying up all night again, and worrying about whether or not I was gonna, you know, if we're gonna find a new car, will I be able to get a dentist? Will I be able to get back home? Will I be able to afford it? I was just so worried, so I got up and started drawing. And my quote for the day is, "Worry never fixes anything," which is true. So the next day we had another storm, no electricity. So when we have no electricity, that's when I get out my fiddle and start playing. And for some reason, probably because of my stress level, I couldn't play a note. The violin is very strange that way. It takes upon your emotions, and you know, you're not feeling well, it's probably not going to sound well. We had pizza for dinner. The lights came back on, so we had pizza for dinner, and that was about it. This was my tribute to September 11th, and after that storm of last night, it got really cold. It went down to 43 degrees, and the high was 52. The first time I've ever turned on the heat in September, and this is scary. And I talked about what we were supposed to be doing on September 11th. That was my vacation week. We were supposed to go down and see a show on Van Gogh at the Chicago Art Museum, and instead I decided to go and visit my family, and I just wanted to be around family on that day, on you know, on that week of 2001. So we went on Friday. Then we went to look for cars, and this is the first. We found a car, and it's the first factory ready vehicle made for handicapped or wheelchairs. So usually for handicapped people, you usually go and buy a van or buy some type of utility vehicle. Then you take it to the handicap conversion place. They tear it all up and put in all sorts of stuff to make it handicapped accessible. This one was designed to be handicapped accessible, so it was actually cheaper than doing it the other way. And it's just perfect for my husband. It's in plenty of room, everything. But debt are us. And so we sent in all the papers, and here's my quote for a day. I have enough money to last me the rest of my life unless I buy something. Jackie Mason. So the next day we went to Antigo, which is in the middle of the state, kind of, and I paint there quite often, and we went there, just fooled around, because we hadn't been out for 2 weeks prior to that, because the car was in the shop, and had a nice day, but it was kind of chilly. It was only 57, very windy, so I didn't get outside to paint, but I painted from my car. And I do watercolors, so it's not, I have tried oils in the car, and usually I get them all over the car, all over me, all over Bob. It's a really big mess. So I leave those to do when I'm outside. Sunday, September 14th, is the birthday of my son, who's 42. I can't believe he's 42 when I feel like, you know, I should be 42, but I'm not. So I talked about, you know, how time has flown, and, you know, how the day he was born. And the quote for the day is, "Life is what happens to you while you're making other plans," and that was from John Lennon's song, Beautiful Boy. So the next day, back to work day, and I had to do all sorts of papers, sending papers, signing papers, seeing what expenses that I could cut down, and then I got the news that we qualified for the loan, so yay. The next day, Bob was not feeling well again. We think that it might be that he's lactose intolerant, so I think that that's what it is, because he stopped eating any type of dairy, and last night he had grilled cheese, and it bothered him the same kind of way. So that I think we actually diagnosed that correctly. For somebody who's in a wheelchair, it's very hard to diagnose things, because they can't take the same type of tests the rest of us do, and because of the issues about being in the wheelchair. And so I said, calling Marcus Welby. The next day I just worked. It was pretty boring. I found a really cool Weight Watchers fajitas dish online, and so I wrote down the recipe, and I worked and cleaned in the house, nothing special. I bought some peaches at the store, and they were so pretty I had to paint them. And we had some, one of the family was up at the ranch, and there was a false alarm, so that was exciting. And so I had to deal with that stuff, and so it was frozen pizza again, frozen pizza night. Here it got down to 40 and only up to 60, so here we are in fall. So Friday, September 19th, we went and got our car. Or I went and got it. I left Bob at home, got a ride down there, picked up the car, and came back. And I said, thank you, Mom, on here, because she was part, the money that was left to us was part of the down payment. So I had been saving it since she had passed away for something special. And I guess a car is pretty special. But here it is. Here's our car. And we were the talk of the town. So many people stopped us and asked us what it was. It's called the MV1 for Mobility Vehicle 1, because it's the first one of its kind. They have been using them as cabs in New York, Chicago, and Detroit. So this is the first year that they made them available to the general public. So everybody noticed. It looks just like a black car to me. I don't know, but I can't tell cars. Somebody asked me what kind of truck came into the ranch one day, and I said a big one. So that's how much I, know about cars. I'm sure I'm not going to be able to find it in a parking lot. So here's Autumn Begins. We went and I went and painted outside and had a wonderful wonderful day. We took a little drive, tried to look for the colors, and had an easy dinner, spaghetti and some bread. And we have our first frost warning tonight. Bob's been using, the leaves changing at the ranch, and he's predicting this tree that he sees when it starts turning. The 6 weeks later, it snows. So he predicts our first snow will be November 7th. So we'll see how that goes. This was a disturbing picture in the Wall Street Journal of today about Kurdish refugees, the poor little boys. They were holding, it looks like saltine crackers, probably the only thing they had to eat. And it was just so sad to know, this world has so many things, and why does this have to happen? I don't know. The same day I got Penzeys Spices catalog, and this is their new magnet if you buy something from them, and so I cut this out and put this in here. So that's what was on my mind that day. Next day we went, and Bob is on Conservation Congress, so he had a deer meeting. They're doing something different with the counting of the deer, and so I tried to amuse myself by doing something else. There was no Wi-Fi anywhere in the little town that we were in, so I drug my stuff in, and I was sketching in the cafeteria, and I saw roaches crawling across the floor, so I decided to draw them and keep my bag up on the table so I could see if anything was crawling in it. So yuck. I was working on drawing some characters. I'm trying to, that's why I'm doing the drawing tutorials and figure drawing. I'm trying to create some characters for children's books, and so I'm working on that. And I had to, this was the last day of work for last week, so I was working hard on doing that. I had my third shift art school tonight. And so the first day I was off, last Thursday, I cleaned out the car, the old car, and I had forcible yoga poses, the downward dog, picking up change and crap on the floor, and I hurt at the end of the day. And I was drawing that night with my lead pointer. I just love that lead pointer. It's my favorite pencil. And what happened on Friday? Oh, we had a whole bunch of stuff to do. First, I went down and the place that we bought the car from put on my plates, and these are my plates. Copa 1, I'm a big Barry Manilow fan. And we went to the doctor. Doctor gave Bob an excellent bill of health, the cardiologist. We had to go over and get his Wisconsin ID. They took away his driver's license for being disabled, and so he had to get a Wisconsin ID. I stopped at Michael's for a present for my daughter's birthday, and then a long ride home, and then I worked on my figure drawing that night. And this is on Saturday we went to Lee Yawkey Woodson Museum in Wausau. Every year they do a Birds and Art show, and it's just beautiful, and we've been going now for 15 years, and this is their new edition, and it's the Owen Grommy building, and they have all of his work in there. He did a lot with wildlife and nature, and we went up to Rib Mountain, but it was too crowded to draw, so we went over to Rookery Park on the Wisconsin River, and we didn't get home until 9 o'clock. It was just a gorgeous day. And Sunday, the little bluebird came back. I don't know why, but he should be getting ready to go, so I guess he was saying, you know, so long and farewell. And then Sunday night, since I still had off on Monday, I stayed up and watched my YouTube University, that's what I call it. And so well, I did a whole bunch of stuff that day. Cleaning, study, football, and a nap. So even though it was a beautiful day, well, I didn't get out very much, except to take out garbage. Monday, the last day of my being off, had a vet appointment. Poor little Boomer needed shots, and he needed a bath really bad, so he got one. And it poured rain, naturally, when I was bringing him into the vet. So I look like a drowned rat, and it's funny how I drew this, and then I had spilled coffee on my page, and so it made my letters from the previous page bleed over, so it kind of does look like a rat. So while we were waiting for the groomer to fix him up, I went over and painted some sumac leaves in my little moleskin, and had a nice afternoon doing that. We drank some hot chocolate, and was nice and warm in the car. Then today it was back to work, and I have lots to do because I'm going to be taking off all next week, so I have 2 weeks worth in, I have to do it in 3 days. So I was pooped out tonight, and I took a nap after work, got up and made chicken and mashed potatoes and vegetables for dinner. Everything was frozen, so it wasn't hard to do. And then I kind of wrote a little bit about the end of September. Only 3 months left of 2014. I've thought about, I haven't touched my oil paints all year, but I have been working a lot on my figure drawing, and I have improved very much on my figure drawing. So, but I've got to get back into my oil paints soon. And the leaves are just so pretty out there. So this was my September. I hope everybody else had a wonderful September, and I can't wait to see all your Hobonichi flips for the month. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and I haven't bored you to tears. Please have a wonderful October 1st, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and if you'd like to subscribe, please do. I would be happy to have you as a subscriber. And I guess it's time to say hello, October. Bye-bye now. Have a nice evening.